What's up, guys? I'm here with another video, and this time I want to be talking about the so-called Muslim ban that's going on. That people say that Donald Trump has signed into order. Now, this has become such a hot topic all over Facebook and social media. There's a lot of protests going on at various airports around the United States, and people are thinking that Donald Trump has signed an executive order to place a ban on Muslims and all of this type of stuff. So basically what I want to do is that I want to go ahead and try to address this topic because I had quite an interesting conversation with a few friends and family members of mine, and some people that I know, they were basically on the side or the position that I was taking, and some people were not. And I mean, it was just mixed. I had people, who were actually immigrants themselves, who actually lived in immigrant countries, who actually agreed with the ban that Donald Trump has put on certain countries in the Middle East. And then I had other people who were immigrants themselves who totally disagreed with the ban. So basically what I want to do is that I want to go ahead and I want to try to address this topic, in this video, and hopefully to try to shed some light on some understanding on what's actually going on. Okay, first of all, this is not a Muslim ban. Okay, Donald Trump has not said that he's going to be banning Muslims. Now, however, due to his poor choice of words during the election, he did talk about banning Islamic extremists. Okay, or that his worries or his concerns was that people who are coming from one of these 7 countries listed, and I can't remember the name of the 7 countries. What I'll probably do, I'll probably go ahead and upload it to this video, just to let you guys know exactly what countries that the ban is stemming from. But anyway, the executive order is basically saying that people who are traveling to and from these countries will not be able to enter the United States, because this is something that is a potential threat to our homeland security. So it basically has nothing to do with people of a certain type of faith or religion. Now, I know that people are saying that Donald Trump said that he will let the Christians in, but he wouldn't let the Muslims in. Now, I don't know. I think I read some article about it, but I think that it was fake news. It didn't come from a reliable source. So basically what I'm not even going to say that is what Donald Trump has decided to do, because I really don't know myself. I'm going to have to take a look into that to see if it's actually true or not. So the biggest talk is Donald Trump banning Muslim people? Like I said, which is a no. That's what the executive order says. Okay, it's not banning Muslim people. Now, however, what brought about this executive order is that, okay, let's just address the big elephant in the room. We all know that there's a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East. There's a lot of turmoil, chaos, ISIS is over there, etc. And we know that people who have nothing to do with any of that, who are just caught in the middle. We're talking about your everyday civilians who just want to go to work, want to go to school, provide for their families and all of that stuff. They're caught in the middle. So, of course, they're trying to find refuge. Now, what's basically happening is that you have some people who's actually trying to seek refuge, and they're trying to get out of these areas. Okay, but the problem is that these people are trying to find a place to go, and they're trying to have a better life, but you also have people who are part of ISIS and who are part of these terror groups who are trying to make their way into the country. And they're trying to cause chaos and destruction and all of this stuff here. So you got a mixed batch of those people. Now, those people are the ones who are messing it up for the rest of the immigrants who are just trying to come over, who's just trying to escape whatever was going on in their country. So the thing is that people are talking about vetting. They want to vet some of these people, but you have to understand, in these countries that are war-torn, the 7 countries that are listed, they don't have a government set up like we do. Okay, these people, you know, they can't just call down to the embassy or call down to their local government and say, hey, we just want to verify that, you know, this guy over here is who he says he is. Okay, so basically these people, some of these people just had to pack up whatever they had, whatever they can carry, and just flee. You know, they didn't have time to pick up documents and all of this stuff. You know, some people just had to, you know, leave with whatever they had on their backs. So trying to get all of this documentation to prove who they are. And plus, I mean, these other countries, they can't verify because, I mean, you only got two types of people that's in that area. You know, you got the rebels, you know, who are fighting against the military, or you have ISIS that's fighting against the rebels and other regimist groups and all of that type of stuff. So it's just total chaos. So you don't know who's coming into the country and who's not. Now, I don't believe that majority of the people who need refuge are the bloodthirsty Muslim terrorists that a lot of people try to depict them to be. They're just people who are just saying, hey, listen, I don't want to live in this country. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we just want to leave this area. But what's happening is that those few out of the bunch are going to these countries such as, you know, Germany, Sweden, France, places like that, and they're just basically ripping these countries apart. Because these guys know that the government don't know who they are, and they're basically saying that, hey, you know, we're in a new country, and, you know, we're basically just gonna take over. Okay, and unfortunately, a lot of these people are Muslim, or they self-identify with being Muslim or being part of Islam. Now, let me tell you something about Muslim people. I know quite a few people personally who are Muslim, and they don't even like ISIS. Okay, in fact, majority of the crimes that's being committed, majority of the murders that's being committed by ISIS is they're actually targeting more Muslims. So basically, you got Muslims killing more Muslims than anyone else, or ISIS is killing, you know, more Muslims than anyone else. So basically, to kind of put that argument to shame that, you know, ISIS is just focused on killing American people and, you know, people of the West, you know, that's not true. Because a lot of Muslims don't have that mentality. Now, however, when you have a bunch of people coming from an area where there are a lot of people from ISIS coming into a brand new country, you can't tell who's who and what is what. So this is one of the reasons why the executive order was being passed, that we shouldn't just be allowed to just bring anyone into the country unchecked and undocumented. I mean, we don't even do that for people south of the border. So why would we bring someone from all the way across seas who are in a war-torn, war-ravaged area, who could be a part of these terrorist groups, and just bring them over here when we're not even letting people from the Caribbean come to the country? I mean, you know, we got people from different parts of the world, I mean, peaceful places, and I mean, it's so hard for them to come into the country. So the executive order, to me, makes sense that, you know, we need to find a solution, and we need to put a temporary ban on people coming into this country from those areas so we can get all of this figured out and see what can we do. Now, another thing is that a lot of people who are protesting against the ban, apparently they haven't seen the videos, and the footage of what has been happening to these countries that have allowed just refugees to just come into their country unchecked. You got people over there that are suffering, people who are citizens who've born and raised in these countries, such as Germany, France, and all of that, and they're living in fear because you got these refugees who no one knows who the heck they are, no one knows what group or affiliation that they have, and they're over there committing crimes. They're beating up innocent people. I saw some videos where some of these guys were attacking innocent women. They were attacking innocent people. I actually saw one where these group of guys were attacking this lady, this journalist, and her camera crew, and these guys were just attacking them, throwing stuff at them, kicking them, punching them, all of that type of stuff. And it's like the governments in these countries, they don't know how to deal with this stuff. And the reason is because they never had to deal with this stuff before. So since they never had to deal with this stuff before, trying to find a way to counteract it is pretty tough. They never had a problem with people just walking around, being violent to other people for no reason. But apparently a lot of these refugees lived in areas to where that's just how things were. So now they are the aggressors, or they're the bullies. And a lot of these people, they have free housing, they're getting money from welfare. And I mean, it's like they're basically walking into these countries and they're being taken care of by the government, and they're still going out committing these crimes. So it's not a matter of, and these guys are not doing it in the name of Islam, they're not doing it in the name of Allah, but it's just the wickedness of people. Okay? And the Bible warns us about the wicked heart of men. So it's not Muslims. Okay? It's not just a Muslim mindset. Now, I will say that the Islamic practices does kind of feed the fire to some of these people who take the Quran and they misinterpret certain scripture, or they read one thing a certain way and then they say, well, hey, we're supposed to go out and we're supposed to treat people a certain way based on what the Quran says. Now, you do have those type of people who do that, but at the same time, the root cause is the wickedness of the heart. But see, what's starting to happen is that this is very, very dangerous territory. And the reason why I say that is because if we know anything about history, these type of things can easily lead to communism, mass murder, and genocide. Look at the USSR under Joseph Stalin and John Lennon. Look at communist China under Mao Zedong. I mean, even look at Hitler. Think about it. You had a group of people that who came from other places, and they were the majority, or I wouldn't even say the majority, but they had different practices and they had different ways of living and all of that type of stuff. And the native people suffered. Okay, and right now that's what's going on. The people who are living in these countries, they're suffering because of foreigners. And all it takes is one person to stand up and say, hey, listen, we need a change. We're dependent on you, the government, to make that change. And if the government is continuing to stay silent, because for instance, like if you're in Sweden or if you're in Germany or France and you speak out against what's going on, you speak out against these refugees, they're going to basically shame you. They're going to call you racist. They're going to call you this. They're going to call you that. And basically people it's like people can't even speak up and say what is going on is wrong. So what happens is that you're going to get a person who's going to have a lot of people that's going to rally behind him or her, and they're going to say this is what needs to be done. And this is the perfect recipe to brew up some of the things that we've seen happen in Nazi Germany, the USSR, Communist China, etc. North Korea, for example. North Korea, and there's one person or regime that goes against the government because they don't like what the government is doing, and then majority of the people follow. Some cases they may overthrow the government, what have you. But this is the perfect storm for that. And this is why these communist regimes rise, because people forget history. They forget why certain things were put in place. Like I said in my last video, you get a lot of people who don't understand history. They don't understand why there are certain laws and certain practices in countries such as the United States. Everybody looks at the United States and they laugh and they point the finger and they say, hey, you guys should be doing this like us and you guys should be peaceful like us. But when we don't take that route, and when these things such as what's going on in Europe starts to happen at the hands of these migrants I mean, then a lot of people start to look at us and say, well, hey, maybe you guys are on to something. But anyway, as I digress from that, I just wanted to kind of make this video to kind of let people know that this isn't some Muslim ban. And he's not banning Muslims, and this is not something that is against a certain group or a certain religious group of people. It has nothing to do with that. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter, okay? I mean, I still look at this guy in office. I see him sitting at the Oval Office, and I still have to close my eyes and shake my head. But number one, he's our president. You gotta respect him as that. He is the president. I don't agree with everything that he does, and I do agree with some of the things that he does. Some of the things that he is putting into order. That's just how we have to look at things. You may not like the guy. You may not agree with everything that he says. I mean, I didn't like Obama. I didn't agree with everything that Obama said and did, but there was a lot of things that I did agree with. And there was a lot of things that that he said and did that I actually agreed with. But I still respected him as president. And I know a lot of people that got this thing saying, oh, give Trump a chance. And, why should we give Trump a chance? Well, you're going to do it anyway because he's president. I mean, that's just bottom line. Whether you give him a chance or not, I mean, he's going to be a president. He's not, it's not going to stop. He's not just going to walk out of office because you disagree with him. But all we can do is pray for our country. And if you're Christian, pray for these refugees. Pray for these immigrants, man. Pray for the direction in which this world is going in. Because the root problem is sin. That's what it is. Point blank period. A lot of people don't want to think about it, but no, it's the root problem is sin. And you're not going to fix it with banning a certain type of people from coming from one country to another. You're not going to fix this sin issue by dropping a bomb on someone or a group of people in a certain country. You're not going to solve it by just letting people into the country and hoping that they would have a change of heart and hoping that they would come and contribute to society. These things are going to continue to happen. People are still going to continue to get hurt, shot. Terrorist acts are still going to happen no matter what we do. It's probably going to increase as we continue to live our lives until the day of judgment, until Christ comes back and establishes his kingdom on earth. All you guys need to do is get yourselves ready. Establish that relationship with Christ. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Judgment Day is coming. It's coming. And we're not talking about somebody dropping some nuclear bomb and wiping out, life on the planet. No, it's going to be a day when everyone is going to see the Lord in all of his glory, all of his angels in the sky. And there's going to be two people. There's going to be those who are going to spend eternity with him and those who are going to spend eternity separate from him, which we know is hell. So I want to ask, which one are you? Which one are you? And I'm not going to go into, actually what I want to go into is, is asking yourself, are you that type of person? Because a lot of us know what God requires. But some of us were just too stubborn because we want what we want. We want to be able to add God into our lives when we're supposed to give up our lives for him, just like Christ gave up his life for us. So that's just something to think about. As always, Christian people, continue to get that solid foundation. Continue to establish that solid foundation in Christ, in the Word of God. I'm no surprise that all of this is happening. But let's just continue to pray for those people who are going through this. And as always, man, this is Alton. And you have a blessed day.